something that affects me directly as a TikToker who has signed this pledge. I'm very happy to cover this. So there's a group of TikTokers that are refusing to work with Amazon until the company meets the demands of their workers and recognizes their union. Coverage from NBC News reports the union, which current and former employees formed independently in April of 2021, has asked for a variety of changes, including a $30 an hour minimum wage, better working conditions, and a halt to what it alleges are the company's union busting tactics. We're calling ourselves People Over Prime. That's a title that was developed by Gen Z for Change. You might recognize Gen Z for Change as the group that recently raised $2 million for abortion funds following Matt Gaetz's colorful comments. So there's 70 of us TikTokers with a combined following of 51 million people. And so this is what Gen Z for Change said directly about this campaign. They said Amazon's widespread mistreatment of their workers and blatant use of union busting tactics will no longer be tolerated by the TikTok community. The millions of dollars that Amazon poured into TikTok showed just how much they know that TikTok is powerful. So if they talk to powerful creators, we can take advantage of that. Reporting from NBC News again, the campaign came to fruition after the group's success this year, aiding another union organizing campaign or other union organizing campaigns at major retailers like Starbucks and Kroger. They've done a lot of work supporting the Starbucks employees who are unionizing across the country. And from the co-founder of the Amazon labor movement on Twitter, support for this campaign on TikTok. Thank you for your support. Myself and Amazon labor appreciate it, solidarity. Christian Smalls also retweeted the story saying that there's a natural alignment between the TikTokers organizing the pledge and the Amazon labor union. Quote, it's a good fight to take on because Amazon definitely is afraid of how we've used TikTok during our campaigns. So I think this is great. I am not someone who was ever going to work with Amazon. Let's be real, on my TikTok page, a lot of these creators are progressive, commentators. These are people who are talking about politics a lot on their pages. However, maybe the same people who follow us will put some pressure on the influencers who are using the Amazon storefront. And I think that's really where the power is in saying we're not gonna work with Amazon until they meet the workers' demands and recognize the union and stop union busting. I think it has a lot of power. Amazon makes most of their money online. And if they can't influence the folks on TikTok, hey, it's the most popular online destination in the world. There's a lot of power in this.
Maybe they're wondering if this will, I don't know, just run its course like usual things like this. So like, this is obviously, as you point out, where Amazon lives and they know the power of TikTok. And you talked from the very beginning of this show. I feel like this has been the theme today, right? The power, or at least the ability to organize at your workplaces. And this is just another way that it's available. Look, we got this source of information. We've got this connection online that so many people say and connect with. And if you enjoy the folks that are there, that are these content creators, anyone that you even exchange ideas and entertainment with, there's that power. It's just a matter of whether or not we're gonna activate it. And then still it takes organization, but at least the information is quicker and easier to get to. And organization does happen. And all that's left is threats. Or all that's left is, well, maybe this will blow over. Or you're gonna lose your job. It sucks that that's again the process, but I think they're beginning to see that it's not a winning approach, or it's no longer a winning effort. Now the question then I think comes is, where will the middle ground be, or will there be a folding that comes from this? Because they're definitely gonna pitch, we can't afford this, we can't take this types of thing. Oh, you want us to actually treat workers right? Give them their rights, maybe have some level of mobility throughout the company, anything that it's particular to each one of these types of companies. But the question is always, do you really want these people telling us what to do? Yes, they're the workers. They're the reasons why you're even able to do what you do. And the moment that these workers realize and then have to face that scary potential consequence of losing jobs because that's the approach that's being taken, then we can move on. But again, we got them trapped in this corner. Hope it works. I didn't know you were part of this as well. But what, 51 million followers combined of all these folks? That's power, man.
Yeah, just over 70 of us. And I remember when, Victoria Hammett, who's a really important organizer, she's used her following on TikTok to get a lot of things done. And as someone who comes from like their traditional organizing, where you're with a bunch of workers and community members in meetings in person, talking and knocking doors and making phone calls, when I started using TikTok, I was like, wow, I can reach way more people much faster. This is an organizing tool. And really, things are changing with how we organize in this country and how many people we can, meet on TikTok, and having the creators on the same page about what the mission is and what we can get done is extremely powerful to be able to use social media to get information out in an unprecedented way. I think this campaign represents hopefully something that continues and not something that TikTok, to satisfy their advertisers, which is how they make their money, decides to quell. Because it's very easy for them to say, hey, if there's any videos where if we scrape the voice to text record of what's been said in this video, if people over prime appears at all in the video, let's quell it in the algorithm. Let's not put that one on the For You page. They can very easily take action against us to silence us. So it's gonna be really, really interesting to see how this plays out, and if we can do something like this again, and if it's successful.
We'll see. It's yeah. I mean, look, this is where the fight comes. If you want your rights, we've always seen in this country, those who have it are they're not keen on giving it up. Let's put it that way. So we'll see how fight goes. Actually, I'm surprised. Again, I was surprised you're part of it, and I'm glad that you are. As more people see it, then that's where the courage comes for this type of movement. I like it.
You're surprised I'm part of it, Jared? Did you think I was just gonna flex?
I just know anything about it. I mean, before we even did this, I was like, I didn't know this was a thing. I'm a bit detached from TikTok. I'm sorry. I have seen. I like the multiple roles that you do play in your economic talks. It makes people see it in a different light, because I think people avoid these types of conversations, even as simple as what it may seem like with organizing, with union busting. Not that it's simple to do it, but the idea of doing so, it's a bit of a foreign thing for a lot of people. So even when it comes to economics, you have to put it in different terms, and people go, "Oh yeah, that makes all the sense in the world." We just don't give people that access to that kind of information in a way that then they feel they're empowered to be a part of it. That's changing, man. We always talk about, and I hate to call them kids, but like, young folks are figuring this whole thing out, and they're not gonna continue to go down this same road. And we're seeing them as little brat millennials, but they're actually fighting for regular folks' rights.
Yeah, the kids are all right. The young people are doing well. So often we hear about places like Amazon, even Tesla and Elon Musk. Let's talk about Amazon, because that's what we're focused on right now. People think, oh my gosh, I can get something that I want to purchase within 2 days. This is a convenience for me. They're thinking about the business from the perspective of the consumer and from the perspective of Jeff Bezos, who many people regard as a genius for what he's done with technology, et cetera. But really, everything he's accomplished has been done on the backs of the laborers for Amazon. He could never do what Amazon does by himself. He's not a hero. And if we think about what has to go into that package, getting to your doorstep in 2 days, people are dying in Amazon warehouses. They're doing 12 hours of calisthenics every day. Is the little bit of value that you get from getting your package early worth them doing that work? And that's why there's a crisis in how we talk about economics, because it's from this perspective of the business and the consumer, not the worker. But everyone interacts with the economy as a worker every single day. That's how most of us participate in the economy. We spend most of our waking hours doing our job. And so it's about time we tell the story of what's going on with economics from that perspective. I think there's no good reason we don't teach economics in public schools, which is why I talk about it on TikTok, because everyone has a right to know. We all have to live under this economic system. We have a right to know how it functions. And it sucks we have to do it on TikTok. It should be happening in public schools. But the reason it's not is because they want to keep people thinking about the economy from the perspective of businesses and not the workers. Because once people realize what's going on, that's when we're really going to see change happen.
On TikTok, I love it.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.